The NFL presidential address, the Prez, Kelly, week 16. You're looking good today, Kel.
Thanks, Prez. I did something with my hair.
Well, I'm glad you find that funny. You know, one of our listeners requested cleavage for Christmas.
Well, this is about as much cleavage as you're going to get because I have this really new, cool, high-def 4K camera. But with the different sizes of backgrounds, you have to be super zoomed in or not. So this is about all I got.
Okay, well, we're all happy, Kel.
Okay.
Listen, big show today. We gotta go through every card, every game on the board as well. We will have a special guest at the end of the show. Okay, we got it, Kel. Special guest at the end of the show that we're gonna start doing every presidential address. Kel, I had a medium week. I actually released 10 plays altogether.
Wow.
I went 5-5, but in my units, all my big plays won. My 5-star game of the month won. That was on Indianapolis. I have another up for week 16. My promo code, so you guys can have it for half price, is Prez NFL15. Head over to WagerTalk.com. I'm 9-4 on the season in my 5-star plays. This is a must play. I absolutely love this game. So head over to WagerTalk.com and use the promo code Prez NFL15. And Kel, we are still the number one watched handicapping show on YouTube. Close to 20,000 viewers last week. I'm excited, man. You know, the comments are outstanding. Some of the negative comments actually make my day because the irony is,
you love it. You love some of that negative feedback, and that's what's funny about it is that it's offensive only if it was true, but it's not.
No, but the bottom line is, honestly, the irony is magnificent because the more comments we get, the higher up the rankings we go on YouTube. So basically, thank you. Thank you for everybody who comments, negative and positive. And I just want to start the show with one quick thing, and then we'll get into NFL. Yesterday on Morning Joe and the Pro, Teddy and I were talking a little bit about cunnilingus. We didn't understand where the origin of the word came from.
And you Googled it?
One of the comments was that it was based in Latin. So I went and looked at, what is the root word for cunnilingus? What does it mean? And basically what I found out is it means, do I have to?
I'm Googling this now. You're a mess.
You're not Googling it. Let's get into football, girl.
And yes, the answer is yes, you have to. Wow. All right, fine. I'm excited. There's no more Thursday night games. Thursday night games are a pain in my ass. So Saturday football, Washington, Tennessee, 10 points, total 37. Titans open 10.5. Obviously, somebody had a little bit of faith in Washington's now fifth string quarterback. I did not watch 1 second of that game last week because there was really no reason for me to. Titans stock really high right now, laying 10 points at home. Your thoughts?
Kel, this game is interesting to me because I think the line is too high. We're moving into the last 2 weeks of the season. There's a lot of teams that are still in the hunt for the playoffs, and Tennessee is one of those teams. 8-6. Baltimore is holding that last position by the skin of their teeth, but they've got the Chargers up, and that's a game that they can for sure lose. So the door is open for Tennessee, and I do think they will win this game. But, even though Tennessee shut the Giants out last week, they still struggle to score. So, when a team like Tennessee, which running the ball, conservative offense, when they're favored by so many points, I can't lay that type of number. I like Washington in this game, Kel. I do think Tennessee will win this game, but I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. I lean on the under, but the total is very low at 37. And Washington's got a good defense. And they're also not out of it either, Kel. Especially with...
But they're not.
Yeah, look, it's going to be tough, right? I mean, they've got Philadelphia at home next week. But if Washington can win both these games and Minnesota loses one, they're in the playoffs. So I think we're going to get a good game from Washington, and I think this game is going to be close. -10 is just too many points. I'm taking Washington.
I agree with you. All right, Baltimore at the Chargers. One of the best defense in the league, and then one of the best offenses right now. Philip Rivers playing out of his mind. 4.5-point favorites, total 44. Chargers have no home field advantage, which is why I think they kind of take away from this whole playing on the road thing and why they've seemed to do well on the road this year in hostile environments. They won at Seattle, they won at Pittsburgh, and they won at Kansas City, 3 of the most hostile environments you can play in the NFL. So here's this Chargers team, but I'm looking at the better defense here, catching 4.5.
Kel, I don't know why you think Baltimore has a better defense. Look, I get it. Statistically, they do have a better defense, but not that much better. But you've also got to look at who Baltimore has been playing all year. And they haven't been playing teams like the LA Chargers. LA looked amazing last week against Kansas City from a defense perspective, and they also showed a ton of moxie last week with that incredible comeback. I like the Chargers in this game. I've been playing the Chargers pretty much all year. I think that their defense really, they fit well against Baltimore's run offense. And all Baltimore is doing is running. And we've got a lot of film now on Lamar Jackson.
We started to see that last week, that defensive coordinators are starting to figure him out.
Yeah, and look, the Chargers are the 8th best defensive team in football, and they've kept teams to an average of 103 yards on the ground. Baltimore, I don't think it's a good matchup for Baltimore. I think the line is pretty close to where it should be. I lean on the Chargers, but what I really like here is under the total, Kel. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think both teams are going to be very run-first. And I think when you run the ball, 15 minutes becomes 9 minutes very quickly. We're going to see a lot of 6 to 8 minute drives that might end up in field goals. And this game is going to move very fast. I like under the total in this game, and I lean on the Chargers.
All right, Dallas. Tampa Bay's headed to Dallas. Tampa Bay, good God. Well, we know they're eliminated. So what do they have left to play for is a good question here. 46.5 is the total. Cowboys laying 7. Cowboys lots left to play for still. They've got to win out. Well, wait, if they lose one, they're still going to win the NFC East?
It's
win out.
Dallas only needs to win one game to win the division. And I think they're going to win this game, Kel. I think we saw a very bad performance by Dallas last week against Indianapolis, but it was a real tough spot for Dallas. Now they're coming home off of a humiliating loss, and I think we're going to get their best game. With that said, if you go into the numbers of Tampa Bay over the last few weeks, their defense is actually playing pretty good. They played well against New Orleans. They played well against Baltimore last week. And I think this number 46 is very high, especially in a Dallas game. I think Dallas is going to play a somewhat conservative offense. They just need to win this game. They're going to slow this game down to a crawl. I think the under 46 is the play, and I have nothing on the side for you. It's just too big a number.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard with a team without motivation. You don't really know what you're going to get.
And also, Kel, what we have to remember is, as we enter week 16 and 17, these teams that are out of it, like the Giants, like Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, etc., Atlanta against Carolina, we're going to see a lot of these teams go for it more on fourth down and short than they normally would during the season. And a lot of the spreads and totals are going to come down to whether they actually convert that fourth down or not. So be careful, everybody. With that said, I like the under in this Tampa Bay Dallas game.
New England has now lost 2 straight. I'm very happy because I bet against them on both. But they're laying 13 now to Buffalo. A Buffalo team that had a chance to cover a big number in Buffalo, but late pick 6. What are you going to do? Total 45.
You know, you look at New England, and I think their last 2 losses are a bit phony. I mean, the miracle in Miami was an outright win for New England. I mean, that they're going to win that game 99 out of 100 times. And, you know, they had Pittsburgh where they wanted them right at the end, and you know, Tom Brady just didn't look like Tom Brady of old. But if you go back just, 6-7 weeks ago, we saw Tom Brady put up over 40 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. So Tom Brady is not done. And I think they're in a must-win mode. They really need to play home field advantage. They've got to overtake Houston. And Houston's got a tough game against Philadelphia this week. The line is big at minus 12.5, but we spoke about this last week. Double-digit home favorites this year are covering at around a 70% spot. We saw it with Atlanta last week against Arizona. New England minus 12.5, I think, is the play here, Kel. And I don't know what to do with the total. Buffalo is playing to the under, so I do like the under a little bit. But I actually do like New England for an outright blowout.
All right. Atlanta, your favorite team, versus one of my favorite teams after last night. Atlanta going into Carolina. Carolina minus 2.5, minus 120. Or there's some threes plus 100 here in Vegas. Total 47. I do think that was Carolina's Super Bowl last night. That is why I absolutely hammered that team. I really wanted them to get that win. They couldn't get it done, but hey, no sweat for the most part on the cover there.
No sweat. There was a touchback. No sweat. There was a touchback at the end of the game.
Yeah, but even if they had scored, there was still plenty of time left.
Plenty of time for what? Cam Newton to throw another interception? Some bonehead wide receiver to fumble the ball, running 50 yards at the 30. Carolina's a mess, Kel. And the thing about it is, and this game, you have to be very careful. And we're going to talk about this a little bit with the Detroit-Minnesota game as well. Cam Newton is injured, Kel.
Yes.
We heard about it in the press conference, and Carolina is out. I would be weary to take Carolina here because, in all honesty, I think it is their best move strategically to actually just shut Cam down for the season. I think if you're going to take Atlanta in this game, take him now. Once Cam has been declared out, that line is going to plummet. But even with Cam in, there is no chance I can take Carolina at minus 3.5. They're just reeling, Kel. 5 or 6 straight losses, 3-7 ATS in their last 10. Something is wrong with that offense. And although we saw an unbelievable defensive performance last night against New Orleans, Carolina's defense has not looked good of late. I lean on Atlanta in this game, but I do tell everybody, be wary. Look for the injury reports. It is not a guarantee that Cam is going to play.
I agree. I think this is a stay-away game for me. There's a lot of unknown factors. Plus, Carolina has the Saints again on deck. Obviously, really weird scheduling, but you got to think they want to get one back or at least try to play hard against the divisional rival. Jacksonville plus 4.5 at Miami. This Jacksonville team have they cashed it in? They've cashed it in for the season. What do you say?
I do, and I also think they don't want to play for Doug Marrone, which is crazy. I mean, he must be a dick. I don't know. I mean, he's a hell of a football coach. But yeah, it looks like Jacksonville has shut it down, and they're really struggling to score here, Kel. Miami, I mean, they're clinging on to playoff hopes by the skin of their teeth, but it's It's not looking good, but I do think we're going to get a really strong effort from Miami. And I think Miami at -4.5 is the play. The over and under is 39.5. I lean on the under because I can't count on Jacksonville putting up anything more than 6 to 12 points at best. I don't think Miami is going to score a whole ton as well. But, 39.5 is pretty low in this day and age. I lean on the under, but I do like the Fins to cover the -4.5.
I'm pretty sure at the end of the show we're going to have Ralph Michaels on talking some trends and angles, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have a trend and angle for this one because I saw one on Twitter that's pretty prolific. Indianapolis -9.5 versus the Giants, total 47. I can't back the Giants right now in any shape or form. I'm not saying I'm rushing to lay 9.5 with the Colts that just shut out the Cowboys, but I don't know if I can back the Giants here either.
This game is interesting because I'm positive Indianapolis will win this football game. They're one of the hottest teams in the league, and they get to see whether Baltimore wins or loses on Saturday. Oh, we're putting slippers on now, huh?
My feet are cold.
I got slippers on too, Kel.
Let me see your man slippers, Prez. Oh, no, those are great. Those are definitely Toronto slippers. These are like Vegas slippers that my dog thinks is a toy. By the way, we need prayers for Coco in Vegas. She's in the doggy ER right now. Not good.
Again?
We're going to start a GoFundMe here. Bobby the bookie, one of the guys on the site, and I joked about when I'm 40 that we're going to start a GoFundMe to get me some new boobs. And said, so yesterday I texted him, I go, we need to start a GoFundMe to get Coco out of the doggy ER first. Anyway, bad side joke.
Okay, so shall we get back to football?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Indianapolis is going to win this football game, Kel, but -9 is a bit high. Indianapolis is not lighting it up right now, and they are running the ball very well. The New York Giants defense is not bad. I mean, even though they got shut out last week, I'm not expecting the New York Giants to get shut out again here. But you know what I really like in this game is the under, Kel. I think the New York Giants, both teams are going to play slow. Indianapolis is going to play conservative. The problem Indy's having right now is in their passing game. Andrew Luck looks great, but they just lack the wide receiver depth. T.Y. Hilton obviously is one of the best wide receivers in football, but their tight end is dropping the ball a lot, and they really don't have any catching running backs coming out of the backfield, and they don't even have a quality second or third wide receiver. I think we're going to see a conservative game plan from Frank Reich, and I don't think we can count on the Giants putting up more than, at the most, 17 points. I'm not going to touch the side in this game, but I do like under the total of 47.
I think 7-point teaser Indianapolis would be on mine for sure. All right, Houston at Philadelphia. Philadelphia back in the driver's seat. Looked really good against the Rams. Now 1.5-point favorite over Houston, total 45.5. Think Nick Foles can put together 2 complete games?
No, I don't, but I also actually think this is a really great spot for Philadelphia. When you say Philly's in the driver's seat, they're in the driver's seat to go golfing, Kel. Minnesota is in the driver's seat. If Minnesota sweeps the next 2 games, they're in and Philly is out. So Philly does not have destiny in their hands. But I think Minnesota is going to have it tough against Detroit if Stafford plays, and we'll find out about that later on in the week. The line opened at Philly at +1.5. It's down to a pick 'em. I think this is a tough spot for Houston. We saw the New York Jets play Houston very tough last week, and I think Philly is a better team than Houston. Philly's defense has looked really strong of late. Fletcher Cox is just a beast in the backfield. Really, the over and under here is a perfect number, 45. I don't think I can touch it, but I actually do like Philadelphia here, and I've been riding Houston for a while, so it's not like I'm against Houston. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. I just think it's a tough spot for them. So we're going to take Philly at a pick 'em.
All right, I don't hate that at all. I will probably be joining you on that Philly play, Prez. Okay, so I mentioned just a minute ago I'm going to be at this game. Johnny and Bobby and I are going to go. We're going to go to the Flight Club in Detroit. So if anybody's out Saturday night, apparently Bobby's buying bottles and strippers. Minnesota, and I'm going to be so hungover for the game, but that's okay. Minnesota 5.5-point favorite. Detroit total 43.5 here. I'm looking towards the dog, but you're right. We have to figure out if Stafford's going to be 100% healthy before I want to play this one. But I think Detroit gives them a game here.
I do as well, Kelly. You know, this Detroit team is feisty. Look, they lost last week against Buffalo, but their defense has really come around. And, you know, when you talk about are we going to get 2 complete games out of Nick Foles, are we going to get 2 complete games out of Kirk Cousins? They have a new offensive coordinator.
That's actually a great point. No, you're right. I don't think we will.
They have a new offensive coordinator. Delvin Cook played outstanding last week, and I think we're going to see a lot of running by Minnesota. But Detroit's run D is not bad of late. I agree with you. 5.5 is a big number, a division rivalry game. I think Detroit wants to play spoiler here. I think we're going to get their best game. The only question is Stafford going to play? You know, he's slightly injured as well. Detroit's playing for nothing. There's no reason for Stafford to play. So I would wade carefully into this game and really wait till the last minute when the injury reports are confirmed. I don't think I'd touch this game until Sunday, but if Stafford is playing, I'm with you, Kel. I like the Lions.
All right, this line, when I looked at this, I was going, oh my God, Green Bay Packers, a pick 'em at the New York Jets. I was floored. I don't think I'm going to be on the Packers. Not after last week. There was just too many trips to the red zone that came up completely terrible. I will say this. I was like, please, Tom Brady, channel your inner Aaron Rodgers on that last drive for the Steelers. And he did throw an interception, which he hasn't done in like a million years. And it was absolutely incredible. But God, can you back the Packers here? There's no way.
No, and you know, Kel, this game I struggle with. Look, the opening line was the New York Jets at +3. It's not a pick 'em anymore. We've got the New York Jets at -1.5. That's a 4.5.
That's here in Vegas. They're 1-point favorites.
Yeah, that's a 4.5 point line move. There's obviously a lot of money coming in, smart money coming in on the Jets, because 61% of the general public are backing Green Bay. Green Bay's 0-7 on the road here, Kel, but look, they're not playing a very good football team. The New York Jets, they're going to run. And, you know, I think, like, I can't find a bet in this game, so it's going to be an outright pass. But if I had to bet, I would take under the total of 43.5.
Okay. Yeah, I got to look more into this game. It's Tuesday morning, and I just kind of wait for the lines to come out, see where the dust settles. And I'm going, is Aaron Rodgers out for this game? How did this move so significantly? It just is very strange to me. But
something has to be wrong with Aaron Rodgers. Kelly,
that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, you know, the thing is about the game last week, look, he had 1st and goal twice in the last 5-6 minutes to cover against the Bears. But not only that, if you actually watch the fourth quarter, he substantially overthrew 2 wide open wide receivers that had they have caught the ball, it would have been a touchdown. Something is wrong with Aaron Rodgers. This is a complete stay away game for me.
Yep, I agree with you. Okay, here's a game where I probably would play the game. Here's the Browns, who have won 2 games in a row, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, the Browns have this outside shot to make the playoff. And I'm still going, okay, everybody, pump the brakes here. I do think Baker Mayfield has shown some really good moments. I do think the Browns are on the right track. But I still don't think the Browns should be laying 7.5 points to anybody.
They shouldn't, Kel. And the interesting thing here about this game is the Browns do not have a chance to make it to the playoffs. I mean, that's just crazy talk. But I do think they're going to dominate that division for years to come. And Baker actually has the highest pass completion percentage for throws over 20 yards in football right now. And they really are airing the ball out. Their defense is playing good. Nick Chubb is a real strong running back. I mean, this team is playing well. And Williams wants to win. I mean, he's playing for a potential job. And I think that the Cleveland Browns like him. I think he has a good match with Baker. And,
things with him than they did in the previous 3 years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But that statistic is not really that accurate, especially given that, they found themselves a potential superstar quarterback that they didn't have. With that said, we saw Cincinnati win last week against Oakland. We saw them put up a bunch of points. And Driscoll is playing for a job as well. I am not going to take the favorite in this game. I do lean on Cincinnati, but I like the over in this game, Kel. Cincinnati's defense is very bad. I think Cleveland's going to put up a bunch of points, and I think Cincinnati is going to be able to somewhat keep pace. I could see this game being a 30-23 game, and at 45.5, I think the number is low. We'll find out exactly what the weather is going to be like on Sunday, but I think the play in this game is on over the total.
All right, LA Rams now drop 2 straight, but hey, they're 2 touchdown favorite in Arizona, total 47.5. This is a stay away game for me. I'm not taking the 14. Arizona may just get the bricks beat off of them by a very angry Rams team here.
Yeah, look, I can't take a road favorite at that big a number. So I can't take the Rams, and I also can't take Arizona because, Arizona is just a very bad football team. And at this point in the season, they might as well lose the last 2 games and try to get the first-round draft pick.
Absolutely.
The Rams, what they have to do, Kel, is they have to turn this around. They have to go in to the playoffs feeling better. And I don't know what is ailing them. Their defense isn't right.
At what point do they rest players?
They can't rest players. I think if they lay the smackdown here, especially offensively, I think we'll see them rest players in week 17. But you got to remember, Kel, they've got the Bears right behind them at 10-4. They're only 1 game up on the Bears for that home field advantage. There's no chance the Rams are going to rest anybody right now. I think we're going to get the Rams' best effort. And Kel, even though Arizona is struggling to score, the play here is on the over. 47.5 is a very low number for the Rams. The weather is going to be great for football. I think the Rams are going to put up, if they can, they're going to certainly try to put up 40 themselves to right this ship. I really like over the total of 47.5. And I see the Rams in a 10-point teaser for this week.
All right. I was on the Niners last week. I was against the Chicago Bears. 3.5 in some spots. Lots of 4s still left if you want to bet San Fran. I am tempted to take the Niners. Speaking of riding the ship, Nick Mullins has put together a couple of complete games, and this Niners team is looking better. I don't know why they've decided now they want to start winning football games, but maybe they're just playing better as a cohesive unit.
Well, I also think they do want to change the culture in San Fran. I don't think they're playing for a first-round draft pick. They've got Garoppolo coming back next year.
They have an efficient backup.
Well, they've got McKinnon coming back next year, and they found a great running back. They found a great backup running back as well. But most impressively about San Fran is how their defense is playing. Their defense is looking really, really good. I think San Fran is the play here as well. I know for some reason everybody who watches this show lives in Chicago and just bites our head off every time we play against Chicago. But I think this is a very tough spot for Chicago, especially hosting the Vikings next week. I think they're going to struggle to cover a -4. Look, Trubisky had a better game last week, but they're not tearing it up on offense. And San Fran is a tough out right now. Give me that home team with their stout defense, their running game, and Mullins, who's doing just enough. And one of the best kickers in history of the game, Mr. Automatic. I'm going to take San Fran at +4.
I agree with you, and I am betting it right this second because I know it's headed to 3.5, and I still have a 4. All right, so here's a game where I talked about yesterday doing some other different stuff that I do, that if you like New Orleans last night, you needed to bet them. If you didn't like New Orleans, you could wait because this money is going to come in on the Steelers. Sure enough, money's coming on the Steelers now. 5.5 is the total. Or I'm sorry, 5.5. New Orleans is the favorite. Total 53.5 here. Now, I was on the Steelers in that situation to kind of get that monkey off their back. But here's the Saints team off 3 road games. They lost 1, covered one of those, won 2 of those. Now they're going back home. I don't know how much motivation they have to cover these numbers. But I do think Pittsburgh is going to give them a really good game. But I could see New Orleans pulling away here at the end and covering this number.
Yeah, and you know what, Kelly? Again, in Week 16 and Week 17, you guys have to look at everything. And I think the Baltimore Chargers game is going to be super important for this game specifically. If the Chargers beat Baltimore, Pittsburgh is going to go into this game feeling good and feeling like they have that division, I wouldn't say wrapped up, but this becomes not a must-win football game for Pittsburgh. I agree with you. I think we're going to see a much better performance by New Orleans. This is a very, very tough spot for Pittsburgh. They scraped out a win against New England last week, and we've seen 2 bad games by New Orleans in a row offensively. I think we're going to get the best offensive football game out of New Orleans that we've seen in a while. I tend to agree with you. I like New Orleans -6. I think that number is going to go up if Baltimore does lose. And I like over the total as well here, Kel. I think we're going to get a good offensive shootout in this game. It's in the Dome. Pittsburgh, we've already seen Big Ben. He's got 2 of the best wide receivers in football. They're running the ball well, regardless of who the running back is. They got 2 solid tight ends. I think Pittsburgh's going to put up some points. I do lean on New Orleans, but I do prefer over the total.
All right. And a game that I already bet, I took Seattle +2.5. Kansas City 2.5 point favorite on the road at Seattle. Total 54. This is the game that really perplexes me, okay? So working for WagerTalk, we get a lot of stuff sent to us before the general public, right? So we get look-ahead lines sent to us right after the games before the games are played. The week prior before the games are played. So we got Week 16 lines on Tuesday of last week. This was Seattle -1. Seattle loses to divisional opponent the Niners. Kansas City loses to divisional opponent at home to the Chargers, and magically this line moves to Kansas City -2.5. Total 54. I bet Seattle early because I figured sharp money was going to come on Seattle, and it hasn't budged yet.
This game, I love this game, Kel. I think this game is going to be one of the best games to watch this weekend. And it's really a tale of, how good will Seattle's run game be against one of the worst run defenses in football. I think the only chance Seattle has in this game is to slow this game down to a crawl, to bring out the 3 running back backfield that they have with Penny, Carson, and Davis. And of course, the 4th running back in Russell Wilson. But if this game becomes a shootout, Seattle has no chance. Russell Wilson is not looking great throwing the ball right now. They had a chance to clinch a playoff playing against San Francisco, and they couldn't do it, and we did not get a good effort out of their offense. They're going to struggle to keep up with Kansas City in this game. And it's a shame for Seattle that they're playing Kansas City off of a bye. Kansas City, again, we got the San Diego-Baltimore game looming large, affecting this game. Assume the Chargers win. Kansas City loses this football game. They've gone from the 2 seed to the 5 seed. I think Kansas City needs this game just as badly as Seattle. And we've seen Kansas City do good things on the road this year. They're not afraid to go on the road. I would be very careful playing Seattle. Even though their run offense matches up well against Kansas City's run D, look at what Kansas City's run D did against Baltimore a couple of weeks ago. Baltimore put up a lot of yards in that football game, but Kansas City held strong when it counted. And if they could get Seattle to 3rd and 6, to 3rd and 9, this Kansas City team from a rush, the quarterback perspective, is one of the best in football. They found a hell of a rushing inside lineman in Jones. They've got Houston rushing. They're rushing their safety. I would be very wary if Seattle finds themselves in 3rd and long all game. I'm actually against you here, Kelly. I like Kansas City in this spot. I think they've played too good this season to screw up home field advantage in the last minute, and I don't believe in this Seattle team. This is a short road favorite at -2.5. And also, Kel, I like under the total of 53. Look, I know Kansas City is putting up a lot of points, but there is no chance that Seattle can win this game unless they slow this game to a crawl, 9-minute drives all game long. The question is, can Kansas City's defense hold at the last minute and force Seattle into field goals? And I think they can. I like under the total in this game, and I do like the Chiefs.
All right. Monday night, I would bet Oakland right away, but catching 2.5 at home. Total for Broncos. God, this is the most disappointing team from a favorite standpoint. I told everybody last week, we talked about this. I was like, it is hard to bet Denver as a favorite. You can bet them as an underdog all day, but betting them as a road favorite in a divisional game, the only question is Oakland still tanking? You know, they appeared like they were, then they put together a couple of complete games against divisional opponents, and then now they're back to tanking. So I'm not going to touch this game, but I'm definitely not laying the 2.5 with Denver.
Kel, I can't do anything in this game. I can't play Oakland, and I can't play Denver. I mean, if I have to touch this game, I would play under the total of 45.5. I've been riding
money for 6 weeks in a row.
Well, I've been riding the under in Denver for weeks now, and I think that line is a little bit high. But, man, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? This comes back to what we were talking about earlier in the show. I think both these teams are going to go for it on 4th and short all day long from anywhere midway up the field. I don't think either of these teams care whether they win or lose this game. So I'm leery on the total, and the side is an absolute no-play side. Kel, let's bring Ralph in for our last segment, and then I got to eat. We're going to do it while we are videoing, so bear with me. I'm calling him as we speak, and we got a great segment lined up for everybody that we're going to start doing on every NFL presidential address.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey Ralph, we're doing great, my friend. We just took the entire board apart. It was a fun show. Kelly looks phenomenal today. You, like usual, are just an absolute handsome machine. I have no doubt you're wearing shorts because I've never seen you wear long pants. But welcome to the NFL presidential address, my brother.
I am honored. It's you know, you two do a great job on the show, and it's fun being a part.
Oh, Ralph, your mic is not doing too good. Let's hope it turns around. Listen, listeners, what we're going to be doing with Ralph every week on the NFL presidential address is we're going to bring him in right at the end of the show, and he's going to give his 5 best trends, angles, systems, whatever he decides for the week. We've lost Ralph. Ralph, are you still there?
Hey guys, am I here now?
Yeah, and you're sounding better. So, Ralph, we hand the show over to you. Let's hear your 5 best trends for the week.
All right, Prez and Kelly, let's start with a couple team trends. The Dallas Cowboys, we know they're not a very good home favorite, but when they are a home favorite off a straight up an ATS loss, they're 1-17 against the spread.
That's actually an unbelievable statistic. What is the logic to that?
Well, I think that people tend to think the Cowboys return home. They're a bad home favorite anyway. The line gets inflated in a few points, and we know that Jerry World is not a huge edge to the Cowboys.
Excellent trend and statistic. Kelly, what the hell are you doing?
I'm taking notes because I want to use that later. That's a great trend. I told you already I kind of leaned towards the Bucs, and I thought it was a lot. You don't know, but Ralph gets probably more text messages from me than you do.
And that's a lot. Ralph, how good does Kelly look today?
Kelly always looks awesome. She, between the two of you, let me think. Who would I rather be looking at? Well,
Me.
Prez has the great hair.
Thanks, Kel. Ralph, let's go to trend number 2.
It is a simple trend on Seattle. They're 11-1 ATS as a home dog. And to show how strong this is, Kelly and VR, a couple of our guys like to sprinkle a little bit. They're 9-4 straight up when they are a home dog. Last time they didn't cover as a home dog against Cincinnati, 2011.
And also, Ralph, I mean, I don't know this trend offhand, but at home in December, they're just gold.
Yeah, well, the way they're playing, the defense is back, and Seattle's a tough place to play. Completely agree.
I like Kansas City in that game. What's your next play?
This is the one we've done as the Wager Talk angle of the day, and it's simple, but it keeps winning. When you have a home dog of 8 or more, the under is 45-11, 80%.
Yeah, and that's
Arizona under the total.
That goes back years, Ralph. I mean, I spoke about that trend a few weeks ago, so I agree with you, but I am taking the over in that game.
Well, again, it is 9-5 to the under this year. So we've had many more situations of the home dogs with the good teams being good and the bad teams really being bad this year.
But I absolutely love that trend. It's one of my go-to trends in betting. The problem I see is that they're playing the Rams, who really need to turn their offense around. I think we're going to get the Rams' best offensive game of the year. Maybe not of the year. I mean, the Kansas
Rams just score 45 and they shut out the Arizona Cardinals, and we still get the under.
Yeah, that's unlikely. The Cardinals will at least put up 3, but let me tell you, I wouldn't be blown away if the Rams put up 45. What's next?
Next, since 2006, if you're a home favorite off a shutout, you're 21-12, 63.6%. But if you're a home favorite of 6 or more off a shutout, you're 14-3, 82%. That's both Tennessee and Indianapolis this week.
That's what I saw on Twitter, Prez.
Yeah, and you know what, Ralph? Again, I hate to rain on your parade, but I don't like Tennessee in this spot. It's too big a home favorite, and they struggle to score. I do like Indianapolis in this spot, but I actually like the under a little bit better here. I think it's too big a number for a team that is really trying to be a run-first team and just lacks the wide receiver depth to open it up against anybody. But yeah, I mean, look, these are phenomenal trends. What's the last one?
Last one. This is post-week 9. So you're into the season. You have your injuries. The team's playing well. You're on the road. The line's between the 3.5s. So plus 3.5 to minus 3.5. And you've had no turnovers the last 2 weeks. Quarterback's playing clean. Everyone's playing good. 46-16, 74%. A great 62 games. Houston this week, a 74% trend.
And I like Philadelphia. Maybe we should not have Ralph on this show anymore.
You're just crushing all of Prez's hopes and dreams. I actually really enjoyed this.
Email me who you like so we could have split them up a little bit.
No, Ralph. You know what, brother? This show is about opinions and thoughts. It's not about who I'm betting. I don't know who I'm betting yet this week. I have one play up, locked and loaded. It's a 5-unit play. I already know I'm playing that one. You can get it at WagerTalk.com, and you can get it for half price using Prez NFL 15. But I haven't taken apart the cards from a betting perspective yet. Kelly and I do this every week. These are leans, thoughts, opinions. We tend to be right more than we're wrong, but these aren't our bets.
Tuesday morning.
You know, Prez, if you're like me, I know a lot of times doing these videos and radio shows, it helps you talk yourself into or out of a play when it gets to be later in the week.
It does, and I'm trying not to let it because it is affecting my original thoughts, especially now that I'm doing Morning Joe and the Pro, where I'm listening to you, I'm listening to Koken, to Teddy, to Marco, to everybody else, and I'm just getting too inundated with thoughts and opinions that are actually messing with my brain.
My thoughts or opinions affecting his decision making.
Well, I already know your thoughts and opinions, Kelly. You like dogs, home dogs, on the money line.
I would say I like about 70-30. I like the dogs. Yes, I do. You're correct. I like plus money. There's just something about the plus money.
If you guys remember, we all know when the CG technology lines came out in the summer and you look at the teams, who's going to be the best, who's going to be the worst. 2 games have moved over 10 points from those openers. The Rams were 3.5 points to Arizona this summer, now 14. And you could have had the Chicago Bears +6 against San Francisco.
Wow.
Hey, and I like San Fran.
Me too.
Guys, we got to call it a show. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Remember, next week there will be no Morning Joe and the Pro, and there will be no puck time as I am in Mexico. But we will do this show. Ralph will be back. Kelly will be back. I will be back.
Christmas? Is that what you're saying?
What?
Are you making me work on Christmas? Tuesday's Christmas.
What's Christmas?
I knew he was gonna. That's what I was trying to set him up for. Prez, you're terrible. Okay, I'll see you on Christmas.
Kelly, with that said, Christmas is a very important day for Jews. It's the day we celebrate the birth of the most famous Jew of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, forget Albert Einstein. Forget Mark Zuckerberg. Forget Sigmund Freud. Forget Golda Meir. Forget. We bow to the man they still talk about. The man that 300 million people worship. The greatest, most famous Jew of them all. Born a Jew, died a Jew. My brother Jesus. Namaste.
And there's your religious talk for the day.
That's okay. We started the show off with cunnilingus, so it's only appropriate we end it with Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's usually what I say after cunnilingus. We're out. Speak to you later, guys. See you next week.
Bye, guys.